Good morning, students. Today we are going to do The Merchant of Venice, Act 1, Scene 2. And I hope you have your PDFs and your copies with you. I had sent you a PDF earlier. And I'm going to read along with some visuals to help you understand the story. So here we go. Act 1, Scene 2 opens in Belmont, where Portia, the rich and beautiful heiress, resides. She shares with her maid Nerissa her doubts concerning her future due to the strange provisions of her father's will. According to the will, she is to be won by the suitor who chooses correctly from among the 3 caskets made of gold, silver, and lead. Portia ridicules the suitors who have come earlier to try their luck, showing her disapproval. When Nerissa reminds her of Bassanio, she remembers him and has tender thoughts for him. Scene 2. Belmont, a room in Portia's house. Enter Portia and Nerissa. Oh, Nerissa, my poor little body is tired of this great big world. This is Portia talking. And that is Nerissa for you on your left. You'd be tired, madam, if you had bad luck rather than wealth and good luck. But as far as I can tell, people with too much suffer as much as people with nothing. The best way to be happy is to be in between. When you have too much, you get old sooner. But having just enough helps you live longer. Portia. Good point and well said, Nerissa. It would be better if you actually applied it to your life. Now this is important line. You think it's that easy? Okay, the original line goes, if to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, chapels had been churches and poor men's cottages, princesses' palaces. It is a good divine that follows his own instructions, which means that you think it is easy. If doing good deeds were as easy as knowing how to do them, then everyone would be better off. Small chapels would be big churches and poor men's cottages would be princesses' palaces. It takes a good priest to practice what he preaches. For me, it's either a lecture 20 people. It's easier to lecture 20 people on how to be good than to be the one person out of 20 who actually does good things. The brain can tell the heart what to do, but what does it matter? Cold rules don't matter when you got a hot temper. Young people are like frisky young rabbits, and good advice is like a crippled old man trying to catch them. But thinking like this won't help me choose a husband. Oh, the word choose is strange. I can't choose who I like or refuse who I dislike. I am a living daughter, still controlled by the wishes of a dead father. Isn't it a pain that I can't choose or refuse anyone, Nerissa? Okay, obviously she's tired because she just can't choose or reject. Then I'm going to skip a few things here. Then Nerissa actually says, lightens up the mood by saying this. Your father was ever virtuous, and holy men at their death have good inspiration. Therefore the lottery that he hath devised in these 3 chests of gold, silver, and lead, whereof who chooses his meaning chooses you, will no doubt never be chosen by any rightly, but one who shall rightly love. But what warmth is there in your affection towards any of these princely suitors that are already come? So she is asking, have you any feelings for these people who have come to try to choose you? And Portia says, I pray thee, overname them, and as thou namest them, I will describe them, and according to my description, level at my affection. So it says, like, you name them, and I will tell you what kind of impression they have on me. And she says, oh, well, first there was the prince from Naples. And to that, Portia says, yes, that stallion. All he talks about is his horse. He thinks it's a great credit to his character that he can shoe a horse all by himself. I'm afraid his mother may have had an affair with a blacksmith. And so Nerissa says, okay, then there's this Count Palatine. Says, oh, he does nothing but frown, as if he wants to say, if you don't want me, I don't care. He doesn't even smile when he hears funny stories. If he's so sad and solemn when he's young, I can only imagine how much he'll cry as an old man. No, I'd rather be married to a skull with a bone in its mouth than to either of these two men. God protect me from these two. Whew. Nerissa, what do you think about that French lord, Monsieur Le Bon? Well, might as well call him a man since God created him. No, I know it's bad to make fun of people, but still, his horse is better than that of Napoleon's, and he frowns more than Count Palatine. He was trying to outdo everyone so much that you couldn't tell who he was. He started dancing every time a bird sang, and he was so eager to show off his fencing that he'd fight off with his own shadow. If I married him, I might as well marry 20 husbands because he's like 20 men all rolled into one. I'd understand if he hated me, since even if he loved me desperately, I'd never be able to love him back. Okay, so what about Falconbridge, the young English baron? I have no opinion about him. We don't talk because we don't understand each other. He doesn't speak Latin, French, Italian, and you know how little English I speak. He's great looking, but how can you talk to someone who doesn't speak your language? He was dressed so oddly too. I think he got his jacket in Italy, his tights in France, his hat in Germany, and his behavior everywhere. Okay, so Nerissa says, did you like the young German, the Duke of Saxon, his nephew? He's pretty awful in the morning when he's sobering up, and even worse in the afternoon when he's drunk. At his best, he's a little less than a man, and at his worst, he's a little more than an animal. If he got married, he'd tragically meet his demise. I'm sure I could find a way to go on without him. Okay. If he offers to play the game and chooses the right box, but then you reject him, you'll be disobeying your father's last wishes. I know, so please put a nice big glass of white wine on the wrong box. I know he'll get tempted and choose that one. I'll do anything rather than marry a drunk, Nerissa. Nerissa says, you don't have to worry about any of these lords, my lady. They've all told me what they want, which is to go back home and give up on you, unless there was some other way to win you than your father's pick the box test. Portia, I'll die an old maid unless I can be won according to the rules set by my father's will. I'm glad these suitors are sensible enough to stay away. The only thing I like about them is that they are not there. I wish them all safe trips home. So Nerissa says now, do you remember a Venetian scholar and soldier who accompanied the Marquis of Montferrat here once when your father was alive? And Portia tries to remember and says, yes, that was Bassanio. I think that was his name. Nerissa, yes, madam, that's the one. He deserves a beautiful wife more than all the other men I've ever seen. I remember him well, and my memory tells me that he deserves your praise. Okay, so that's Portia thinking of Bassanio. So this scene, towards the end, is broken by a servant enters and says, there are 4 suitors that are looking for you so that they can say goodbye, ma'am. So all the 4 suitors have come to Portia to say goodbye. And there is one more who has come from Morocco, Prince of Morocco, who wants to choose from the caskets. So that's how your Act 1, Scene 2 ends.